This podcast is for the daydreamers who like imagining new lives and new beginnings but don't quite know where to start. Hi, it's Julian from Rappler and you're listening to Teach Me Senpai. This is episode 17 and is brought to you by Microsoft Philippines. How do you really use AI? For many, it's just a shortcut, a quick way to grab answers from across the web. But that only scratches the surface of what AI can do for you. In this episode of Teach Me Senpai, we sit down with Josh Aquino, Head of Communications at Microsoft Philippines, to explore how Copilot can help us min-max both work and life. Josh shows us how to go beyond simple queries, crafting smarter prompts, unlocking hidden efficiencies, and even achieving goals we didn't think AI could support. It's not just about asking questions, it's about leveling up how we live and work with AI. Josh, thank you so much for making the time today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We talked about the structure of the episode just a little before we started recording, and really we're gonna try to weave in this idea of min-maxing right into this whole episode. But I wanted to ask you first, what do you know of min-maxing, that term? It's a gamer term, min-maxing.
Well, one successful AI use case that I can share immediately is without Copilot, I would never have known or guessed what min-maxing is. So thankfully, because of Copilot, I was able to do a quick thing, and it's a gaming thing, which is great because I play, as an older millennial who grew up with video games, I do play a lot of video games still. But yeah, it's in summary, it's beefing up the stats that make the character what it is or its strengths, so maximizing the value of the character from that point of view using beefing up the skills, the attributes.
And this is something that I feel like a lot of people struggle with in life, right? We go through self-help books, we go through tutorials on TikTok or whatever platform you're on, and we get so much information all the time. And ako personally, one thing that I've realized is that if I know how to properly use AI, I can filter these somehow. And I wanted to ask if this is something that applies to you as well. Do you think that AI has this capability of being able to map out a way for you to min-max certain things?
Well, absolutely. So I think, one of the things that we, number one, Microsoft's AI is called Copilot. And the reason we called it Copilot is it should be built around you. From an agency point of view, you should be in control. And it should be helping you, be more efficient, be more strategic, be more creative. But on a more philosophical side, we also, encourage users to build this around, pair it with your strengths or build it around what matters to you most. So when people are starting out with AI, we say, try it in a context that It makes it less intimidating from a functional point of view. It's easier to grasp. If you ask me, if I were an architect and I wanted to see how AI could help me, I'll ask it about design, something that I know of, so that I can immediately I can validate. That's wrong, or hopefully that's not the result. But you say, oh, cool, okay, so it can think that way. It can give the output in that format. So try it with something that you know, but also pairing it with your strengths, that really unlocks the value of AI. So we say, build it around what your strength is. Like for me, as a communicator, how can this help me elevate my style? How can it help me expand my expertise, my domain understanding? How can it give me new formats? Yeah.
A lot of people dabble into using AI these days. People use ChatGPT, other people use Copilot, others use Gemini. What would you say to someone who hasn't tried these tools themselves yet? Because there are people who are still apprehensive about trying AI.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with what it is under the hood now. So this whole wave of AI innovation started with the arrival of what we call large language models, which are essentially applications or artificial intelligence that are trained on vast amounts of information and data to be able to generate human-like responses. Copilot is embedded, Microsoft's effort to, or it's our embedding that technology into the Microsoft experience. Mm-hmm. So today, the whole Microsoft experience is embedded with Copilot. The operating system, our devices, the apps that hundreds of millions of people use globally, like Word and PowerPoint, these beloved tools, Excel, Outlook, etc., and Teams. So that's what it is.
It's not just about asking questions, right? It's about asking the right kind of questions. And there's actually like a sort of like an architecture for it. You engineer these properly, right? And instead of questions, we say prompts. Mm-hmm. Why do prompts matter? And how do you craft the right kind of prompt?
The big thing for me, this has helped me as a communicator. This has really helped me become a more effective communicator, because of the first thing that you need is clarity. Be specific about what you want. Number two, and the most, I would say the most important one is context. You have to be able to give background, give purpose, because unlike a search engine, these things can understand context. Like, why do I want it this way? Why is it important? So instead of saying, draft an email, you could say draft an email for a client that attended one of our webinars highlighting key takeaways. Number three is constraints. So you could set the expectation, determine the outcome, the format, say if you wanted it in prose, or if you wanted it in poetry, or if maybe you wanted to stick to AP style, or things like that. You can even impose a behavior upon it. So like say now, imagine you're a college professor or you're a 10-year-old, explain astrophysics. That's one of the prompts that I use the most is, explain it to me like I'm 5. Just, so that...
To simplify things.
Yeah, because sometimes it's, sometimes, you just want the inside boiled down, then you can explore further from there. So clarity, context, constraints, and creativity. So one of the things that is great about this, from my point of view, is it really is democratizing expression, creative expression. And it's also putting everyone on equal footing. Like, for example, here in the Philippines, it's great that this can allow us to be more articulate, like in the workplace. It's a joke, I'm sure many people have heard this, some version of, si Julian, biglang ang galing ng email. Must be using AI, which we laugh at, but that's great. That's great. If all of us can be of a certain level of excellence in how we work and how we deliver that work.
And communicate,
then that's a net positive. We should celebrate that and really, embrace it. So clarity, be clear about what you want, how you want it, give context, because this is really, if you boil prompting down, it's context-based writing. And constraints, so that you therefore limit the amount of back-end work that you need. Like a vague prompt is going to give you a quick answer, but you could and you will most likely spend a lot of extra time afterwards refining or gathering more or doing more even, versus spending more time on the prompt and giving lots and just loading context in and constraints and having less to do when you get the output. And then if you can, sprinkle in some creativity, let it show you what else it can do.
Do you follow a certain specific framework in order to make your life feel I guess, more fulfilled? I've seen online, like, when people do their vision boards, they say, maybe personal growth, and then finances, and then career. For the purposes of the episode, what do you think should our framework be, so that when we go deeper into how we can integrate AI into these things, parang we have like an idea na of what these things are?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, grounded in Microsoft's mission to empower everyone with technology and to be able to achieve more with technology. In relation to AI, our vision is to make sure that everyone has inclusive access to this, that everyone can benefit from it. So based on that, I divide life into 6 strategic domains. Work and career is one. Health and well-being is another. Learning and growth, which is my personal favorite. Relationships and community. Creativity and innovation. And the last one is daily life and productivity.
Let's talk about work first. How do you recommend people to use Copilot in their work? And I guess also, like, syempre, in an ethical and responsible manner.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, the people are using AI tools. I think in the Philippines, as far as the workplace is concerned, we are one of the world's most proficient users in terms of penetration. It's very high.
Really?
We have our own study that looked into this, and the usage is very high, like 85% up across industries, across domains. And that shouldn't surprise us because Filipinos are, very digital
online.
first and very tech savvy.
Sorry, what did you say? I said chronically online.
Well,
that's a nicer way of putting it.
Yeah. Well, okay. But yes, we are very digital first. We gravitate towards technology. We're always good at it. So that translates, that tracks, diba? And most of the time, people they're bringing their own AI to work. So first thing I want to say is, how can we integrate this to work? Make sure that you're using something that does not cause any issues with your company's policies. One thing that we really, really emphasize at Microsoft is being responsible by design and default. So what does that mean? It's knowing how the tools behave. About what data am I giving this thing when I use it? What data should and shouldn't I provide or give access to? The output, diba, is there transparency? This is a very small thing to consider when you use AI, but are there citations when you use AI? And bother to check the citations. Diba? For all you know, it's drawing information from a fake news website or an outdated report. So there's an important aspect there as users where we absolutely have to check. Diba? Check your own work. If your company has sanctioned AI tools, then use that. There's lots of, that's one of the great things now, and is just how pervasive the tools are. Diba? And there's very specific AIs for specific tasks. There's ones like Copilot that cut across the entire productivity suite, that gives you efficiency and value in that sense. Delegate the things that take you away from your core strengths, your core competencies.
You taught us a very valuable lesson when you had your training session. No, I really did. You said never the first draft, because that really ingrained in my thinking process when I use Copilot. And I think that's important for people to realize, like, never use the first draft. And I mean, it's pretty obvious why, right? But maybe you could spell it out for us.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I observed, is what I called it first draft syndrome, which is what I shared with you guys. And the context of it was, I was talking to an editor who was sharing that she received the press release that from a brand that was very vivid, very obviously written by AI, and she didn't like it. And so, I just engaged with her and I said, what was the problem with it? What didn't you like? And what if there is an article that was written by AI that is the opposite of that, that's well researched, that has relevant information, that's relevant to your audience? Would you feel the same way? And she said no. So the difference there is the person and the amount of work that the person who wrote said problematic press release is they probably got the first version of it, didn't bother to check and just ran with it. So that's throwing a lot of efficiency and a lot of potential on the floor when you use AI, because it can do so much more than just give you that first draft.
Ako, when I use AI, I do it the other way around pa nga eh. I like word vomit, and then I'm like, okay, critique my work. Go through what I wrote and what are areas I can tighten.
And that
kind of flipping it.
Diba? And that ties in with, letting it do the mechanical work. The
Yes,
drudge
exactly,
work, diba?
exactly.
I do that a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I just dump stuff into, like if I'm working on a project or let's say some kind of, work output, I'll first just keep dropping thoughts or like snippets of information into, a source file. And then later on, I'll say, okay, first, like ayusin mo, put headers, put sequence everything. And then from there, I can use that as a reference to create what I need or want. But then I didn't spend time formatting or diba, making sure that my outline is aesthetically pleasing or things like that. Also analyzing data. Diba? So as a professional, they say like you make a how to get promoted plan.
Okay.
Diba? And that's literally something that you can do. You can try it. But this is me. This is what I do. This is my aspiration. I want to be a manager. Like I want to be a manager of a bank, of a branch, and these are the key success indicators for it. And this is what I'm doing now. But analyze this against that and give me an action plan. I've done this for one of the big unlocks of AI that I personally have enjoyed is learning. So I have Copilot. I've had Copilot make me reading lists for specific topics ancient wisdom traditions. Like what are the key texts of Stoicism, of X, Y, and Z.
Now, so that's one bucket, work and career. What's the next bucket? And how then do you integrate AI into this?
So learning and growth is, for me personally, it's actually the area of my life, both at work and outside of work, that has benefited the most. Basically, what we have most common is kids in a 40 or 50 kids in a classroom with one teacher.
Yeah.
But that's the most pervasive method of education. The most effective at creating mastery is one-on-one tutoring. So the best way to create or to achieve mastery on any domain is having a personal tutor.
Yeah.
But we can't all have a personal tutor, especially in emerging markets like the Philippines. It's very expensive. It's not accessible. With AI, we have an opportunity to give everyone a personal tutor. It's already in our phones, diba? And there's in Microsoft, we have these tools actually that exist in our education suite, so that students do have personal tutors, and it's available today. When you use an AI, it can access information, vast amounts of information. It can reason over it. It can relate it to you in your context. It can package it in the way that makes the most sense to you. And effectively, it's maximizing your learning. So like for me, sometimes because I'm always taking certification courses, outside of Microsoft, I am a coach. So I'm, always learning, always adding, more insight, more context. And sometimes, I don't have time to sit down and read a textbook. Sometimes what I can do is I can transcribe my notes, or I can, give access to a source file, and I can tell Copilot, okay, as I'm walking to the gym this morning, make me a 10-minute podcast
on
this chapter so that I can absorb. Yes, diba? So
that has never done. I'm just I can do that too.
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. So, diba? And in the context of education, we absolutely believe in the opportunity, and we're very committed to that opportunity in education here in the Philippines, because 25 million students in the public school system, for example. Device, it's already there.
Yeah,
if they can use it, then that's something that the benefit there. And we're all, as a country, we're trying to improve the literacy. We're trying to build the literacy levels of the Philippines. So there's huge opportunity there, and it's available to everyone. Regardless of your job or your life stage, it's something that can help you learn. It should help you.
Yeah, I love that example, because then it really shows like knowing what AI can do for you also matters.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about asking the right question, then it's also about knowing what else it can do for you, right?
Yes.
So there's like a creativity aspect to it. I love that. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah. And
No, it's
then,
like that's so great. It just never dawned on me.
Yeah.
That you can do that.
I could have sat down and read,
Yeah.
2 hours every night and did the whole traditional way. But I have a job. I have other things to look after, my family, my extracurriculars, and it made the most sense to do it that way. But still, the outcome was the same. It's just a different route. Diba? So because of AI, that second route was possible.
Yeah, you min-maxed both your workout and your learning opportunity. Okay, so that's one bucket.
Yeah.
Next is health. Kind of the same. How do you then use AI to help with your upkeep of your health?
We have a group of content creators that we work with at Microsoft. Now, the goal of the community is to broaden awareness of responsible AI use, how this can help everyday Filipinos. And we were recently at the farm in San Benito for a wellness retreat.
Okay.
And so it was the farm experience where we did the whole gamut of things. And then in support, we had Copilot acting as, your yoga instructor, or someone helping you be more mindful. Like one of the things that we did, for example, was I'm about to go into a yoga class. I've been dealing with a lot of stress at home lately, and I just need to sort of recenter. Give me affirmations, give me something to get me in the right headspace. Some things to help reinforce my my mood, or help me get over this challenge as I work through this class and outside of it, diba? Those are really simple examples, but even we had health assessments done, and a lot of the time as a coach, diba, I know how hard it is for people to take that assessment and turn it into a plan that they can sustain. It's helpful, kunyari, from a nutrition point of view, diba? The doctor said that maybe I need to reduce my salt intake, for example, or eat less processed foods. But the problem is, I spend a lot of my time outside the house. I'm always on the go. How can I create a diet plan that I can sustain, where I can get food from, let's say, restaurants while I'm out, without eating too much processed foods? Or you could even say, like, hey, all I can eat is fast food. Give me the healthy options from the menus. Or what is the healthy option for me if I wanted to get food from a fast food restaurant? Now, if you could hire a coach to do that. That's more expensive. Not saying that we don't need coaches, being a coach myself. There's also places where the AI chatbot, your AI companion, can help significantly. So, health outcomes, making personalized plans for exercise, for nutrition, that is based on your context, is very much accessible.
So let's talk about AI and creativity then. And I have so many qualms about it as well.
I'd love to hear.
I mean, it's a very highly debated topic online, right?
Yeah.
AI and creativity. And I guess this philosophical question of what is creativity?
Well.
But I do want to ask, from your perspective, how do you then weave AI into creativity?
This is, like you said, this is one of the most contested domains, diba? Because from an artist's point of view, you've basically just mechanized creativity, but that doesn't always mean you're being creative, diba? If you can create 10 drafts of a poem, or 10 different sets of song lyrics, diba? Does that really mean you're being creative? And it always goes back to the insight. Artists will say, the AI will never replace us because it doesn't really have what we have, and that's absolutely right, diba? I mean, it's not supposed to change or take away the value of what you do. On one hand. On the other hand, it's also great that creativity is being more accessible, has become more accessible. People can be more creative. But, for as far as work is concerned, and, day-to-day life, absolutely. So one example that I can share personally, where my wife and I over the holidays or for Christmas, we were putting together our gift list where we're going to give coffee beans to our friends and family. And so we made the order, designed the sticker that goes on the bags with the message, and you know they might not like hearing that it was made by AI, but it was, diba? Kasi it was just a short message, diba? It was a short poem, and then love, you know, our names. So from that point of view, you can be more efficient. Mm-hmm. We like to say, you know, think of how you can be more creative or efficient in your day-to-day routines, and then experiment also. I mentioned the community of content creators that we work with. A lot of them love Copilot because of that. Like having a creative partner to refine the process, to improve the process, to shorten the process, not necessarily, you know, delegating the creation to the AI, but helping them in that stage, diba? So there's a balance. There's some immediate wins that you can use that, you know, are helpful, small things. We're not saying this replaces creativity. In fact, you know, our position would, you know, if I were to summarize it in a few words, is let this help you be more creative. You know, not let this take over your creation. It's just let it allow you to focus on
the things that matter.
Yes. It's also interesting to me, like I've observed that so creativity is being, you know, democratized. It's being creation at scale because of AI, diba? So there's so much more now that's being, you know, you go on your social media feed and you'll see AI content, diba? It's becoming even more and more pervasive by the day. And we'll get to a point where, you know, where most of the things we see online will be made by AI. I think there's an exciting opportunity there. And what I'm excited about is how purely human expression will become more apparent because of this, diba? So there's this trend now where the Gen Zs are using digital cameras, which as an older millennial we used to have those, diba? And that was our way of taking, you know, selfies, diba? Yeah. And it's back now. Yeah. And you know, just through conversations with some of these people, like, parang why is it? You know, why is it a thing? And it's one of the more profound responses that I've gotten is because it's more human.
It's so funny kasi I saw someone post online, the source, I forgot na who originally posted it, pero sabi niya, I don't want AI that does art. I want AI to do laundry. And I found that really funny because I'm like, I also don't want to do laundry. I mean, is that something but you can't, right? Like, we're not at that point of AI doing laundry for you. But it goes to show that there are people who want to relegate daily life things that they find burdensome to AI instead. So I wanted to ask about that. Is there a way for us to effectively weave AI into our daily lives and our productivity plans so that we're min-maxing time?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, the laundry example may not be possible right now, but who knows? You know, maybe in the next year we'll get to see.
I saw a human washing machine.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Oh, yeah. But now there's brands are creating machines that have AI capabilities, and you know, at some point the IoT of things will probably get there, where you can say, "Hey, it's time to do laundry." And then, you know, it'll be a combination of machines and AI, obviously, but that'd be cool. But, you know, right now, yes, absolutely. My wife and I do a lot of our home management using these tools of scheduling, multiple calendars, for example, my work calendar, our family calendar, her personal calendar, my personal calendar. And if you are if you're using the same tools and those tools have access to all of those different data sources, then you can. And you say, hey, what's our, you know, December or January third week look like? We want to go on a trip to the beach. And you can say, well, it looks like you're free, but, you know, maybe your wife or your husband has something scheduled for, you know, that Thursday. We use it for budget management. what gets measured gets managed as far as as a philosophy of ours at home. So when we spend, we track on a on an Excel on a spreadsheet, and that tells us, it not only gives us a clear view of what we're spending on, but eventually you can also say, without doing the manual stuff, I can ask Copilot. It's a question I'm scared to ask. Now, where are we spending too much? Maybe where should we optimize a little bit? Budgeting also, like, if let's say in that situation, Copilot can see that, roughly you guys spend around, 10 pesos a month on food. And then if that's too much or too little, then Copilot can say, I say he because the voice of my Copilot is male. It can say, this is your budget based on the money that you guys have this month to spend and what you need to spend on, you can give it can do that. You can say, we're trying to save $20, 20 pesos a month. These are our expenses. This is how much money we'll have coming this month. Budget it for me, things like that. So we do that.
They can figure it out for you.
Yeah.
See, there's another use case that I had not thought of.
yeah. And groceries. When we have a grocery list that's on a spreadsheet, and those are the things that we normally buy. And based on whenever we go to the trip, we mark organic. If I use the last roll of toilet paper, I'm gonna go on the spreadsheet and put we're out of toilet paper, or I'll mark it as need to buy.
Yeah.
And so you can always just say, let's say if I was walking, or if my wife was walking home and passing a grocery, she can always just say to Copilot, what do we need to buy? What's on the list that needs to be replenished? And it will say, if it has access to the information, it can say, oh, you need more toilet paper. So Josh used the last, I won't say that, but because nga nagamit ko na, it can say, we need more toilet paper. So budgeting, scheduling, tracking, expenses, tracking activities. We use it for, I have 2 small children. I use Copilot regularly to engage with my older child. She's very much into fantasy, make-believe, stories. So sometimes we make storybooks together. There was a time where we were really into the image generation side of things, and we would make. I think I showed you guys. Did I show you guys this example?
Yeah.
So we were trying to make a storybook based on this big story, and every night we would add scenes to it.
Yeah.
More recently, we started creating narrated stories. So she would give Copilot a context. I'm a princess who does jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I have 3 friends, and we're on a mission to save an old dragon, like that. And then I'll refine some of the other things so that she gets something exciting. But it's a way to nurture her creativity as well. It's a way for me to bond, and eventually she's gonna grow up in a world where this is even more pervasive. She probably won't even, we're not at Microsoft where we're very committed to upskilling the people who use this, our customers, communities, consumers. The younger generation they'll figure this out on their own. It's the older ones that we're trying to help the most, but for them, this will be the world that they live in.
Yeah.
So, the earlier she gets exposed to it responsibly, the better, the more equipped she'll be. So there's things like that. When I read, whether it's for work or for my leisure, so oftentimes I'll ask Copilot to help me understand better, or maybe dive into some of the things that I can't see. But this author talked about this. What is the historical context of his thing? Like, when Marcus Aurelius was talking about, the virtues of Stoicism, what is the context? Oh, it was a time of plague. It's very interesting, things like that you wouldn't normally know. And that adds extra meaning and depth to what I'm learning. So, again, going back to learning and growth being some of the areas that can really benefit from AI. And lots of things. I mean, I wouldn't, there's really so many other areas where you can only apply it if you have an growth mindset, and see what else can I do. Like apply it and expand your usage and to really get value out of it. Diba? See where AI makes sense. For all you know, there's a lot of opportunities in your workflow as a professional, as a parent, as a student, where you can give AI, whether to lessen time spent doing drudge work, or to accelerate or elevate a strength or a passion, or to create net new opportunities or possibilities for you.
Yeah.
But you can only know if you
try it.
if you look around really, but take stock of what you do, what could be, what are the areas of opportunity, and experiment.
Yeah.
Immersion. So when people ask like, how do you get better at AI? How do you improve your AI proficiency? Immersion. Immersion leads to experimentation, which leads to innovation.
Yeah.
Diba? Use it every day.
Yeah. And really, I think like being reflective then of what you need it for, right? Like it's not just about crafting the right prompt, it's about knowing what context to put in, and getting to know yourself a lot more. With that, thank you so much, Josh. I hope you had a great time. I had a great time. I learned a lot, and I'm gonna start generating those podcasts for myself.
I look forward to your new show. Well, yeah, thanks for having me. It was great. It was great to hang out and talk more about this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's it for our episode of Teach Me Senpai. I'm Julian Serenio. Thank you guys for watching.